valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
Everybody, welcome in. It's the Kidder and Kev Show live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, live on Dayton's ESPN radio station, live at 1410 Wing AM, live on the Justin Kidder Show Facebook page, live on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Excited to be with you here on a Thursday. Week 1 of the high school football season officially kicks off tonight, and we kick it off with Fairmont and Alter. 6:30, our coverage begins with our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. And we'll walk you right up to kickoff at 7 o'clock. And I can't believe it. Real football, not preseason football, not camp, but games that matter. Games that will actually put a tally in the win or the loss column. Games that will go towards a potential playoff berth, a potential playoff run here in the coming months. But I cannot tell you how excited I am to have high school football on this station once again, 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll actually be carrying it, simulcasting it over on our sister station on the FM on 101.5 Hank FM. You can listen to it on the stream at wingam.com. There's so many different ways to take in not just our show right now, but high school football coming up later on tonight. Again, as I mentioned, the biggest rivalry in the Miami Valley coming up later on tonight. As you, for those watching on the Facebook and YouTube side, Fairmont, Alter tonight. 1410 ESPN Radio. All right, we welcome everybody in. Yes, I could see it already. Scott Campbell says, let's go Reds, and he says, let's go Firebirds. Obviously, it's going to be a good one tonight. The wild thing about this matchup is, like, you know, we talk about the importance of coaching and everything, and Coach Domsites and Alter just a fantastic, one of the best programs in the state of Ohio every single year. You know, and the thing that's fascinating about that is they dominated the Fairmont rivalry for the longest time. I think for a 13-year stretch, they won 13 straight. And then Coach David Miller comes in and they just kind of turn it around a little bit. Fairmont's now won 4 of the last 5. They've won the last 2 seasons. It's going to be interesting to see what goes down tonight because Fairmont lost a lot. They lost a lot of firepower from last year. They still have a lot of talent left. But Alter, they did not lose as much. They bring back a lot of experienced guys from a team that went 6-6 last year, won a couple games in the playoffs. So I'm pretty jacked about that matchup. Coming up here in just a little bit, we'll hear from Jeff Gilbert, Dayton Daily News. He'll help us kind of preview all the top matchups in the Miami Valley, not just tonight, but tomorrow, week 1, and across the state. And we got some good ones, that's for sure. If you head to 937sports.com, 937sports.com is our high school football scoreboard, and that's where you'll be able to follow all season long, thanks to our sponsor over at Frickers. We'll be able to bring you all the scores, up-to-the-minute score updates from around the Miami Valley. Big games this weekend. Again, Lakota East going up against the Centerville Elks. Springfield, again, everyone's going to have their eye on Springfield this season. They're welcoming in St. Ignatius. Now, weather kept that matchup from happening last season. That was a very highly anticipated matchup. The Wildcats battle of the Wildcats, because St. Ignatius, the Wildcats as well. Weather kept us from getting that matchup last year. That will not be the case tomorrow night. Knock on wood, that's for sure. But all right, 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Troy, hope you've had a good day. He says go Firebirds as well. A lot of Firebird fans Any Alter fans? Are we taking Fairmont? We taking Alter tonight? Put your pick in the chat tonight. Our ESPN Dayton High School football game of the week again. Fairmont Firebirds and the Alter Knights coming up later on this evening, and it's going to be more of a high school centric show today. That's for sure. High school football centric show today as we get you set for tonight's matchup. Pretty jacked about that. It's a great way to kick off the season with that matchup right there. But any Alter fans, head to the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page and voice some support for your team. I'm jacked about tonight. That's for sure. When you got the band playing, that's why I love hearing the band in the background, even going with the retro ESPN College Game Day theme. Love hearing the band, the fans, the student section. You could smell the popcorn, everything. I'm just pretty jacked about what's coming here later on this evening as the season officially kicks off. 4 games tonight? I think you got Xenia and Beaver Creek as well. Lots of good games coming up over the next couple of nights. That's for sure. All right. There's so much to pick from to open up the show to talk about here this evening, of course, whether it's the Reds, whether it's the Browns Bengals, whether it's the Buckeyes. The one thing that's interesting to me right now, and we talked about it a lot this week, we talked about the quarterback situation with the Ohio State Buckeyes. We talked about it, of course, with ESPN's Adam Rittenberg. Keith Byers talked about it on his show earlier in the week. I think it's the longer we go on without the Buckeyes announcing a starting quarterback, the more concerned I become. Because the one thing, in Alabama's going through this too. And I get that, when you look at the national champion last year in Georgia, you look at a lot of the playoff teams outside of, Ohio State knew who their quarterback was coming into the year, and obviously TCU, but TCU was kind of a shocker to make the playoff run that they did and get to the national championship game, of course, thanks Michigan. But, I feel like we should be panicking, but when you look at how a lot of teams handle this quarterback situation, sometimes it's not the end of the world not knowing who your QB is to start the season. I just have higher expectations for Ohio State, but I know it's not as simple as, okay, this is the guy. I also disagree with the notion that, okay, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. And that's the thing that happened last year with Michigan when you had McNamara and you had all the issues with trying to figure out who the quarterback was going to be, McCarthy and all that. The difference is they knew who their quarterback was, and yet they were still trying to do the juggling act. And they were leading a guy astray to make him feel like he had a chance to win the position that I don't think he ever had a chance of winning to begin with, which is why he ultimately, transferred out. And that's what I don't know if that's what's going on in this situation in Columbus. Does Ryan Day already know who the quarterback's supposed to be? Does he already know that the starting quarterback is Kyle McCord, but he doesn't want to make that announcement so early in camp out of the fear of Devin Brown just saying, well, screw this, I'm out of here, I'm transferring out? Maybe that's not so much the case now because transferring out now doesn't make any sense. It's not like you're going to go somewhere and start right away this far into camp. But I disagree with coaches who play it's the long game. It's a strategy. I get that. But this is the manipulation of these young adults that drives me crazy, is because we get mad when kids enter the transfer portal. We get mad when coaches bounce and leave. We get mad at a lot of things. But the bottom line is there are no victims in college football. There are just a lot of guys manipulating the other, and some are better at it than others. It's interesting. I don't know if I'm allowed to share this or not, but this was from a few years ago. And KB, if you're listening, my apologies if I figure I'm allowed to share this now. But the whole Joe Burrow thing in Ohio State years ago. I remember KB coming in and saying that he was he was out in the golf course with Urban earlier in the day, and they were talking about the quarterback situation. And obviously this stuff couldn't get out at the time. We're years and years removed. We're a Super Bowl appearance for Joe Burrow, back-to-back AFC championships, a national championship, a Heisman trophy, all a number 1 overall pick. We're years removed from this. But Urban Meyer knew well ahead of time that Joe Burrow was not going to be the starting quarterback. When we were talking about the Dwayne Haskins, Joe Burrow battle, there was no battle. Urban Meyer knew, and this is my conversation with Keith Byers, who came off the golf course with Urban that year. This is years and years ago. Everyone was talking about, man, Joe Burrow has a legit shot to win that quarterback battle. He didn't. Urban knew it was Dwayne Haskins. He was going to give Joe Burrow every shot to show in camp that he could, but he wasn't better than Dwayne Haskins. He just wasn't. He ultimately became better, but he wasn't better that season. And that's the thing. It's like, well, Urban, if you knew that it wasn't going to be Joe Burrow, why go through the whole song and dance of going all the way through the spring game and all this other stuff? But it's an optics thing. Got to protect our image. We got to let people know that, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, we're giving everyone a fair shot. Now you're giving it's an optics thing. What are we doing in Columbus right now? Is this an optics thing? Is this Devin Brown's job? Everyone assumes that it's Kyle McCord's job, but I have a feeling it's Devin Brown's job, and here's why. I feel like it's Devin Brown's job because Ryan Day wants to reward those who stick it out and fight hard. It would be demoralizing for Kyle McCord, who I thought would be the starting quarterback, but the longer we go into this, like if everyone thought that Kyle McCord was the starting quarterback, why isn't it just named right now? To me, you see many examples of this throughout the NFL that head coaches manipulate these situations. They want to give off the illusion that we're giving everyone a fair shot. But these guys know. I use that Keith Byers story about Joe Burrow from back in the day, that it's one of those situations where Urban Meyer knew it wasn't going to be Joe Burrow. He knew. But remember, we headed into that spring game. The reports are the BS they fed to the media. Hey, we're giving him a fair shot. This is a legit QB battle. If Joe Burrow wins this, it's his job, blah, blah, blah. He knew. Urban knew. But he kept trying to lead us along that it was a quarterback battle. It's not a quarterback battle. And I don't think it's a quarterback battle happening in Columbus right now. What I think it is Ryan Day playing the optics game. Kyle McCord, who I really like and I really respect, the fact that he's been around for quite a few years. All right, Kyle McCord, especially when the CJ Stroud thing happened, you're sitting behind, you see the situation with Justin Fields, Fields leaves, you're sitting behind CJ Stroud. You sit behind CJ Stroud for 2 years. Kyle McCord watched Quinn Ewers, come in. He transferred to Ohio State for that 1 year, knowing that he wasn't good, but he was technically in the depth chart behind him. Kyle McCord never wavered, never bailed, never left. What I think, if you ask me, what I think is happening is based on all the examples of the way head coaches manipulate these situations. What I think is happening is Ryan Day is putting out there that, man, I'm just hoping to watch one of these guys pull away. I want to see one of these quarterbacks win this battle. I want to see them win this job. But we just haven't seen a quarterback pull away yet. I think it's Devin Brown. I think if it's this close, what it is you're going to pick a quarterback that's going to be around for at least 2 years. You want continuity at the quarterback position. You know what I mean? Like, you want that continuity. Maybe Kyle McCord and Devin Brown are even. If they're even, go with the guy that you're going to get 2 years out of, as opposed to go if they're even and you get 1 year out of Kyle McCord and then you start Devin Brown next year, who would be a first-year starter next year, and then it becomes another learning situation no. Especially when you look at the non-conference, the preseason, if you will, when you look at those matchups. I mean, Indiana, Youngstown State, Western Kentucky. Devin Brown, those are 3 games for you to get your experience, 3 games for you to kind of kick the tires on catching up to the college game before that big one against Notre Dame. To me, baptism by fire. 3 preseason games, if you will, on the non-con, and then bam, right into Notre Dame. You know exactly who you have with Devin Brown. The reason I said I think it's an optics thing with Ryan Day is rewarding Kyle McCord for his loyalty. I brought up how many I brought up, the Quinn Ewers thing. I brought up the CJ Stroud thing. I brought up all those things because Kyle McCord, to his credit, never wavered, never left, never transferred out. And I do think that there is room in the game for coaches to look at guys like that and say, you know what, Joe Burrow, I appreciate that you've been here behind JT, that you've been here behind Haskins, that you've been here behind, all these. I mean, he was there forever. I have to go through the list of all the quarterbacks that Burrow was sitting behind. But we have to reward those guys. Those guys should be rewarded for their effort. And, hey, we're going to give you a legitimate shot. Wink, wink. And I think that's what Ryan Day's doing. Kyle McCord, thank you for toughing it out and being the backup and not quitting on your team and not transferring and not leaving. We appreciate the fact that you are doing this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're going to make you feel like, man, you had a shot up to the very end, and Devin Brown comes. Now, Devin Brown's, I think, is going to be the starting quarterback. I really do. I think if it really is as close as what they say, we either have 2 quarterbacks that aren't living up to the expectations at Ohio State, and that could be a problem. But I think Ryan Day deserves the benefit of the doubt that everyone that he touches molds into a Heisman finalist and a potential first-round draft pick. And I think that if both are legitimately really good quarterbacks, I think you got to go with the guy that's going to give you more years. I don't think if Kyle McCord's named the starter, you gotta kind of grow. You got to go through the growing pains of a first-year starter this year, and then next year got to do it all over again with Devin Brown, or do 1 year of adjusting a new starting quarterback to college football, and then enjoy the experience part of it next season as well. It just makes too much sense not to do it that way. All right, 518-1410, 518-1410. Chris Brunn brings up a good point. Use the freshman then. Not wrong. I mean, I guess if you're going to use my theory on that, then, you use the freshman quarterback. But again, the reason I think that's slightly different, Chris, is mainly because of the fact that I haven't heard how good these freshman quarterbacks are. All the reports out of camp and everyone I've talked to that has been covering these practices, it's about Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. And unless you have as far as a true freshman is concerned, unless you have a quarterback, and I know Justin Fields didn't play as a true freshman, but the big controversy in Georgia was the fact that he was better than their quarterback at the time, but they didn't want to rock the boat on a quarterback that had taken them, that had beat Alabama, that had taken them to a title game, that had done all that stuff. I get why you don't want to rock that boat, but Justin Fields was good enough to start as a true freshman. Unless you have a Justin Fields or a Trevor Lawrence, or hell, you even watched what Tua did, even though Tua technically was brought in at halftime of a national title game. He had a full season to kind of get under his belt, but maybe not a great, example there, but I think you see my point. That's the only pushback I'll give you as far as that's concerned. But nonetheless, hey, Drew, what up, Drew? Drew says go on. We got an Alter fan jumping in here. Good. Again, our high school football week 1 game of the week tonight. Alter, Fairmont, 6:30. Our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show begins, and then of course 7:00 the kickoff. We got a lot of Go Fairmont to start. I've been inviting the Alter fans to come in here and give the Knights a little representation on the show, and Drew did that just for us now. But the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page, head there now. Dennis on Facebook says, but if they are even, go with the young guy in brown. I'm sorry. I need to read the first one from you. Dennis says, would be weird seeing a number 33 playing quarterback, but if they are even, go with the young guy in brown. And that's been my point all along, is at this point, as I sit back and kind of look at all of this, if the quarterback battle is that close, you go with the young guy. I would rather get two, and let's just say that Devin Brown is a hair behind Kyle McCord. I still would rather get 2 years of Devin Brown than 1 year of Kyle McCord if he is just a hair better. Maybe I'm wrong in that. But right now, we're all flying blind because we have no idea who these two quarterbacks are. I am putting my blind faith into Ryan Day because he's earned it. Every quarterback in his system, every quarterback that he touches has turned into a Heisman finalist. Every quarterback that he touches has turned into a first-round draft pick. Why should I doubt that now? Okay? It's the bottom line. I get defensive of Ryan Day a lot because I get where, like, Ryan Day losing the Michigan game, all that stuff. You guys all want him canned after that. My thing is this. He wins to me, winning a national championship is a bigger deal than beating Michigan. I know I'm screaming into a crowded room or into a quiet room here. No one cares about everyone's like, no, it's Michigan. It's Michigan. It's Michigan. Ryan Day, continue to put your team in position to win national championships, get to the playoff. It's going to be bumpy on those weeks and those years that you don't beat that team up north. But to me, Ryan Day proved last year, you don't have to beat Michigan to win a national championship. Did they ultimately go on to win a national championship? No, but they looked better than Georgia, damn it. They looked better than Georgia, and they would have curb stomped TCU. I have no doubt about it. So to me, it's one of those things where I have full faith in Ryan Day. So I get defensive when Brian Hartline keeps getting all the love and all the praise because I'm like, hey, enough is enough. These wide receivers, I love Brian Hartline, don't get me wrong. But are we really going to pretend like these wide receivers are coming to Ohio State because of Brian Hartline and Brian Hartline only? No, they're not. I really, truly believe, and I don't want Brian Hartline going anywhere. There's a reason they gave him the offensive coordinator title. We'll see how much offensive coordinator responsibilities he truly carries this year. Sounds like, the whole purpose of doing that was to take some of the play calling responsibilities away from Ryan Day so he could be more of a manager of the team, but it doesn't sound like that's going to be the case. So what the hell was the purpose of that move? Oh yeah, to keep other teams from plucking him away. But the thing is, if Brian Hartline leaves, do you guys actually think that wide receivers are going to stop wanting to come to Ohio State? I don't. I think it has more to do. Ryan Day does not get enough credit. Every time Alabama lands a top commit, I never hear, oh, it's because of their coordinator. Oh, it's because of their, offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, their special teams coordinator, this, that, and the other. Coordinators play a huge role in this. Don't get me wrong. But if Brian Hartline goes to Bowling Green, are the 4- and 5-star wide receivers lining up to go to play at Bowling Green? No. They want to go play in Ryan Day's system because Ryan Day's system provides first-round quarterbacks, Heisman finalist quarterbacks, guys that can get them the damn ball to put them in position to look like the best. I'm sorry, you're not doing that at Bowling Green. It's not impossible. You can go be great there. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for Ryan Day. In no other program in the country do I constantly hear the coordinator getting more love for the recruiting dominance than the actual head coach. It's Ryan Day's system. It's right. It's not a coincidence. Oh, Brian Hartline comes along and now Ohio State's getting the best wide receivers in the country. Let's be real. Tressel ball, and they still got very good wide receivers during the Tressel era, but elite wide receivers were not lining up to go play Tressel ball. And they still had good receivers. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Tressel. I love Tressel. But you guys see my point. Urban Meyer, I mean, the tenacity on the defensive side of the ball, special teams, very good offensively, powerful up front on the offensive line, dominant run game, and just savvy quarterbacks. Guess what? It's not a coincidence that the second that Ryan Day takes over that offense and opens everything up, that all of a sudden now you're getting the best quarterbacks in the country and the best wide receivers in the country. I'm pro Ryan Day. I'm not anti-Brian Hartline, but I think he gets way too much credit, and it's disrespectful to Ryan Day, which is why I have full faith in whoever he picks at quarterback. They're going to be great. They're going to be great. All right, it's the Kinner and Kev Show right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Good stuff on this topic. I'll get back into this with Kev when he pops back in here with me here in a little bit, nonetheless. But, yeah, sorry if I went on a little rant there, but I'm tired of the disrespect for Ryan Day. He deserves the credit for the great talent that is coming to Ohio State, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Ryan Day, to be clear, get your stuff together, bro, on the defensive side of the ball. He needs to figure out the defensive side of the ball, but we need to stop acting like these wide receivers are only coming to Columbus because of Brian Hartline. That is not the case. Brian Hartline could take the Bowling Green job tomorrow, and he's not taking Marvin Harrison Jr. and all these cats with him. No, they're going to be like, man, we just missed you, but hey, I don't know who this wide receiver coach is for Ohio State, but man, I can't wait to play in that damn that offense with great quarterbacks and this great offensive scheme and everything else. Way too much credit being given to Brian Hartline. Just throwing that out there. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 Wing AM. Let's step away for a few moments. Again, a high school football game of the week coming up later on this evening. We have the Fairmont Firebirds and the Alter Knights. And the head coach of the Fairmont Firebirds, David Miller, he's going to join us next. It's the Kinner and Kev Show. 1410 ESPN Radio.
Did you know that driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal? Driving high will get you a DUI. And if you're wondering if law enforcement can tell you're driving high, well, everyone else can. Friends?
I can tell you drove high.
Parents?
I can tell when you drive high.
Relatives?
I can tell. You drove here high, didn't you?
So what makes you think law enforcement can't?
I can tell.
If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
To your left, our new exhibit, Monarchs of Springfield. And right here, we have our empty tour guide stand.
The last time Bryn hired someone is ancient history.
Sir, excuse me, that's not part of the exhibit.
They need
Sir,
tour
sir.
guides who know the museum ropes.
Hey, kid, you like wearing khakis? I got a job for you.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment, featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 36 months. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at ColumbusEquipment.com.
Why do you change your car's air filter? Because when it's clogged, it doesn't work. The same is true of your nose, the body's air filter. It's great at trapping allergens, dust, and viruses, but unless you clean it regularly, they can stay trapped, making you miserable. I'm Martin Hoke, inventor of Navage, the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs. Here's a testimonial from a verified purchaser and a big Navage fan. Quote, I've been suffering for 30 years with chronic sinus infections and allergies. I stumbled across Navage. The suction is amazing. It cleared my sinus cavities better than anything I've tried before. Unquote. Navage has over 120,000 reviews with a 4.6-star average written by people who use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. Wash your body's air filter with Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Not so comfy? They want to help. At Drake Heating and Air, they're all about getting your AC running ice cold again. Get your $99 AC tune-up with no hidden fees and no surprises. They're not happy till you're comfy.
Every week, we'll bring you the biggest high school football matchup in the Miami Valley. Don't miss our Game of the Week every Friday night as Justin Kinner and College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers call all the action on 1410 ESPN Radio and on 101.5 Hank FM.
Justin Kinner back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. High school football action kicks off tonight, week 1, and we have our high school football game of the week, 1410 ESPN Radio and 101.5 Hank FM. The biggest rivalry in the Miami Valley, the Alter Knights and the Fairmont Firebirds. Fairmont, winners of 2 straight for the last 5. They have definitely kind of regained momentum in a rivalry that was pretty much dominated for a 13-year stretch, all by the Alter Knights, and it's one of the more entertaining matchups and rivalries here in the Miami Valley. I'm excited to welcome on the show the head coach of the Fairmont Firebirds, head coach David Miller. He joins us now. Coach, it's been a while, sir. How are you? Welcome.
Doing great. Thanks, Justin.
Absolutely appreciate your time, especially on a busy day like today. The season kicks off tonight, although I'm sure, you feel like you're well into the season. It's not like football technically starts tonight. It's been well underway for about a month as you guys prepare for this 10-week regular season, of course.
Well, true. Yeah. In our, summer, we always do a lot there. It's action-packed, trying to, kids playing other sports and stuff, trying to negotiate all that. But we started back in August and with our whole team, and things have been going pretty well from there. So,
Coach, obviously this matchup, I know the coaches speak every week. It's the biggest game of the season, but this one just always has a different feel. We talk about it every year. We always open up with your week 1 matchup with Alter. There's just a different vibe about this. It's the biggest rivalry matchup in the Miami Valley. Just talk about what this matchup means to you and how special it is to kick off the season with Alter every season.
Well, I say it all the time. Number one, I'm just honored to be a part of it. It's one of the neatest rivalries I've ever been a part of. It has to be, one of the best rivalries around the area. But it's great for the community. It brings the community out. Hopefully Mother Nature works with us, but everybody's here, the student bodies, our first couple of days of school for both of us, they're all filling the stand. So pretty unique situation. Couldn't think of a better way to start the season if you're a player.
Coach, obviously, when you look at the history of this rivalry, it leans obviously heavily towards Alter, but I think you guys have won like 4 of the last 5. You've won the last 2. When you took over the program, what's changed? Because it's not like Alter's gotten worse. They're still a great program, a legendary head coach. What's changed in your opinion? What did you feel like you needed to change as far as the perception and just the vibe of the program to look at Alter and say, okay, enough is enough. We're going to take control of this rivalry. What changed when you took over, in your opinion?
Well, it's hard to say. I don't know what it was like before, so it's it'd be unfair for me to even comment on that. But my background, my roots, really kind of goes back to one word. It's work. So we went through a trial period, really our first year. The guys didn't really understand. Our very first workout, our first meeting, we had 50 kids show up. The next workout, and I thought it was kind of a moderately hard workout, honestly. The next workout, we had 20. And we kind of rode that roller coaster for the first year. We competed, but we ended up 1-9. And I think guys finally figured out, going into year 2, we have to make a commitment and put the work in before anything good is going to happen. We jokingly talk about, and I know it's cliche as all get out, but the only place that work or success comes before work is in the dictionary. So we use that a lot just to kind of remind them that it takes a lot of effort. You have to pay the price to be able to have success on the game field. And I think that was big. We had a pretty good group of seniors that year and juniors that just decided they'd had enough, and they put the work in. We had over 50 at every workout that year, and it just has kind of snowballed from there. I think the expectations of the program, what you have to do when you're here, and the commitment you have to make, our guys are willing to do that. And typically you're going to have success if you do that. If you don't, you won't.
Coach, Coach Domside's talked about the importance of this matchup tonight. Obviously important for both teams. You want to start off the season with the win and build off that momentum. But he talked about what it meant to his seniors, because his seniors have yet to experience a win over your program. But just talk about, again, that's the angle for them. But the angle for you guys tonight, strip away the rivalry matchup of it. When you look at the tape of Alter, how have you prepared for this matchup tonight? Again, strip away the rivalry and all the extra noise that comes with this matchup. What is the tape telling you about Alter and how you guys are approaching this matchup the way they're approaching it for you?
Well, number one, they're a very different team from a year ago. A year ago, it was pretty evident. They had 6 seniors. They were good seniors, but they were very young at pretty much every position. They return a lot of experience. We, on the other hand, don't. I wouldn't say we're a young team, but we don't have the experience that we did a year ago. So I think that's a dynamic. The bottom line for us, we don't. Without sounding cliche, we try hard not to prepare for opponents. We do, as far as what they're doing, structure, and that sort of thing. I don't think we've prepared any differently for them than we have the past few years. It's more getting our guys to understand, expectations each day and how they're expected to do things in practice. And hopefully, if you do enough of that, the outcome is going to take care of itself. So that's what we're hoping for tonight. But we know we're going to have our hands full. I've seen him on film, and the quarterback is outstanding. He's only a junior. I wish he was a senior, but he's got a slew of wideouts to throw to, and they've, really good line. The line this year is dramatically different on offense, and then they're just scrappy on defense. And Coach Tom Alick does a great job with his staff preparing them. They always give us one of our toughest challenges each year. So we know what's ahead of us there, but we just try to focus on us really more than not, and hopefully that takes care of itself when we get to game time.
All right. Well, Coach, let's focus on you guys then, because the interesting thing, look, we know the style of offense that you run, but from what I read in the Dayton Daily News, it sounds like, although you're not going away too far from your identity, you have put a little bit more focus in the pass game. With the losing some experience from last year, you do have experience at a very important position at quarterback, of course, with Baker returning for his second season. So just talk about just some of the tweaks that you've made, because Baker at quarterback, trying to obviously replace a lot of the production from the run game last year, losing Drew Baker, of course. Just talk about what led to you wanting to kind of tweak the offense just a tad to take advantage of some of the weapons you have in the pass game.
I think it just really comes down to that. I mean, number one, he can throw. And outside of that too, it wouldn't have mattered. I think we realized that this was kind of a deficiency for us, and we need to get better at it. And we tested it in the scrimmages. I can't tell you how much we're going to throw. It'll really come down to circumstances that kind of present itself. But we've worked on it an awful lot, and it shows. We did real well in our scrimmages. Throwing, and I think running too. I don't know. It's hard to say. Do we need to be more balanced? I know there's times that we're going to have to throw, and we need to be efficient with it. I think that was kind of the driving force. And the fact that, Brock can throw it. And we have some guys that we can throw it too. So we're just trying to utilize that, as much as we can and be more productive on offense. Our defense has really kind of done the job, especially the last, 4 or 5 years. They've been really good. And I feel like we have been kind of stagnant. So we wanted to try to just be more well-rounded, I guess, and be able to get ourselves out of bad situations.
Coach, last thing on the way out. Again, Fairmont head football coach David Miller hanging out with us here. It's our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. Week 1 of the high school football season. We're getting set for Fairmont and Alter coming up right here on 1410 ESPN Radio and 101.5 Hank FM. You lose a star player in Drew Baker, obviously, and it's going to be tough to replace his production, but you have the horses to do it. Just talk about some of the guys that are going to be kind of filling in his big shoes, of course, to take on that workload.
Well, we talked. It's initially it was kind of going to be more of a committee. I think it still is. I think early on it was maybe going to be more that way at that position, fullback. Justin Turner has pretty much asserted himself as a starter, and has had really 2 good scrimmages. He's had a great summer. He's a tough kid. He's a hard nose. Has the ability to find some creases in there that are uncanny. So we feel like we're in good hands there. Backing him up as a freshman, going to be really good. Damian Patton. And, I'm not sure how much time he'll see tonight, but he's right there. And then we also work Cameron Payne there as well. So he'll be somewhere in our backfield at different times. He's obviously a starter on defense. But when I said kind of more by committee, it kind of became more just, not so much the fullback, the offense we run, is the triple option. So we have other people, including Brock Baker, Asa Dunleavy, Zach Gagel will start at running back, and we'll rotate some other guys in there as well. But Logan Doty, another young freshman that has shown some promise here that we'll probably get in the mix a little bit as well. But so there's a lot of names I just threw out. and really, here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter what any of those guys do if the guys up front don't get it done. We have a good line. Our line coaches, Coach Feldmeyer and Coach Feltner, both do a great job with them. They're going to have to get the job done up front if we're going to do anything. Doesn't matter running or passing.
All right, good stuff. David Miller, head coach of the Fairmont Firebirds, awesome enough to give us some time here this evening as we're just moments away from kickoff. Coach, best of luck. Thanks for your time ahead of your matchup tonight, and good luck the rest of the season as well.
Thanks, Justin.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff and store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Pennzoil Platinum can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $35.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you need in a snap, and it'll show you how to find it in store with a tap. or get it delivered free. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
Don't give in to that constant joint pain. Take control. Take back your quality of life today with help from QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Keith Byers. QC Kinetics is helping people every day, here and across the country. They're amazing non-surgical treatments that repair and restore damaged joint tissue. They use the latest advances in regenerative medicine, taking your own body's healing agents and concentrating them in the right area where you have that agonizing pain. This incredible, non-invasive approach helps you take back control of your body, relieving the pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back. No invasive surgery, no harmful drugs or steroids, and no downtime. Listen, summertime needs to be about having fun and making memories. Golfing, hiking, enjoying the outdoors. Take control now and start living pain-free again. Call now for your free consultation with QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe.
Eesh.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day,
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
For a beautiful look that protects and stays clean, choose Dutch Boy Paint from Menards. Now all 11% off. Choose quality products that meet your needs and offer advanced adhesion and one-coat coverage in the award-winning Dutch Boy Twist and Pour containers. Get 11% off everything, including the full line of Dutch Boy paints, now at Menards. Good through August 20th, savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The Alter Knights, the Fairmont Firebirds. Don't miss our high school football game of the week this Thursday night. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. with a Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show.
Jeff Gilbert hanging out with us, Dayton Daily News. Jeff, it's been a while, my friend. Welcome.
I'm doing well. It's hard to believe we're here this time of year already.
It kind of hit me a little bit. I mean, we're doing our normal stuff. I think what it is that the Reds are good this far into the season. It's thrown me off. I keep thinking it's April because the Reds usually just give us April sometimes. So it feels like April to me with talking about the Reds being in contention, but it's August and there's a lot going on. But Thursday night, obviously, 4 games, games here in the Miami Valley. The headliner, of course, Alter Fairmont. This is a big one, regardless of whether it's a Thursday, a Friday, or August or July. This is a huge matchup, Jeff, and just you've been covering high school football for a long time. What does this matchup mean to you? The significance of this rivalry? What does it mean to you?
Well, I think it is important. It's certainly, it's a cross-town thing. They plan it on the Thursday night, brings a little more attention to it. It's opening night. And so I think that adds to it. I think it makes people outside of Kettering notice and care. If you follow high school football kind of around the area more than just your team, this is certainly a game you're interested in. There'll be people there tonight who just like to go to games. There'll be coaches there scouting and those kinds of things. So Yeah, it'll be full. It was full last year.
So I mentioned this a little bit ago. Obviously, Alter dominated the series for a long time, 13 straight wins, and then David Miller takes over at Fairmont. I caught up with him earlier today, and I basically asked him. I go, when you took over, what was the approach to this matchup? What was it that you felt was lacking from previous teams that you needed to kind of re-grasp a little bit to kind of turn the tide a little bit? Of course, he didn't really give, he wasn't going to bash any, one previous, and that's not really what I was asking him to do. But he just said it's really not so much about the Alter series as it is just about who they are as a program. But what is it about David Miller and the way in his approach from the way you've covered this to how he's turned this around?
Well, I think he gets his team prepared to execute what they do, and they're not fancy. But I think they do what they do very, very well. I think he's made them believe that they can be competitive. I mean, he's made them believe they can beat Alter. They've got a win over Springfield here. Was it 2 years ago? When Springfield goes to the state final. So I think there's a belief over there that like we can do this. We don't have to be a team that passes you silly. We can go with our ground game. We can wear you down. We can beat you up, and we can beat you. And they haven't had that 9-1 season, but boy, they're just so much better and so more competitive than they were for quite a while. So he's just brought a real toughness to them, and I think they responded no matter what style it is that they play.
Jeff Gilbert hanging out with us again here as we're talking all things high school football week 1. As Jeff said to start things off, it's kind of shocking that we're here, but it is upon us. 4 games tonight, a big slate of games tomorrow night, and heading into the weekend, of course. But obviously, we're highlighting our game of the week, which is Alter and Fairmont, 7 o'clock kickoff coming up here later on today. So with that being said, the thing that I found most interesting, David Miller talking about, like, they've been so focused on that triple option, and sometimes obviously you can control tempo and it gives yourself a chance against some better teams, like we saw against Springfield when they knocked them off. But they're adding a little bit of a wrinkle. They've kind of focused on the passing element. They're not kind of going away from the identity of the triple option, but they are adding more passing wrinkles. I think that's smart. I think you've seen in situations, Jeff, in the past where they get down and you kind of limit yourself. Sometimes you're asking a team to pass that doesn't have a lot of experience doing it. It's been interesting kind of hearing him talk about the focus being, hey, let's implement this in practices in the offseason so that it's not foreign to them when they are in position where they do have to drop back to pass the football.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I've been hearing about that here the past few days. Oh, they're doing this, and of course he's not giving away any secrets. He's had some scrimmages. People have seen him do this, and it'll be interesting to see how much he throws it when he's ahead. It'll be interesting to see how quickly he goes to it when he's behind. And what does throwing the ball 6 times would be a big increase for him, right? Does he mean we're going to throw it 12 times? We're going to throw it 10 times? That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, getting behind has been the bugaboo for them. But boy, when they get when they get up on you and they control that clock and shorten the game, and you get the ball like 5 times, that's what they win that way. But I think he's wise to do this to find, and obviously he probably thinks Brock Baker and some of the guys who he can throw it to are guys who can execute and do this, because if he didn't think they could do it, I don't think he'd try it.
Big games, not just tonight, but throughout the weekend, of course. Tomorrow night, you look at that Springfield St. Ignatius matchup, Lakota East Centerville. What are some of the matchups that have your attention that are must watch and must follow, in your opinion?
Well, yeah, I'll be really curious to hear what happens with Springfield and Ignatius, because they didn't get to play last year because of the weather. Springfield went up there and didn't get to play. Centerville, I'm very interested in. I think they've got a good array of talent. I think if there's a team that seems right now the most likely challenger to Springfield in the GWAC, it is Centerville. I'm not counting out Springboro. They've got a home game. They're at home against Lebanon. Wayne's got a home game against Fairfield, and that'll be a tough game. Fairfield's got a very good quarterback in Talent Fisher, who can run and throw. So that'll be an interesting test. So what are some of these GWAC teams going to do outside the league that we think could be involved in the league race against some pretty decent competition, and that'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
And the GWAC, very fascinating. It's a very interesting, conference right now because, they've had a lot of, I felt like last year we've been calling names of kids that have been around forever, but a very talented senior class across that conference last year. Obviously, Springfield, the team everyone looks at. Centerville, there's still a ton of talent left on Centerville. What about Miamisburg and some of these others? What's your overall takeaway of the GWAC as a whole when you look at Wayne and Centerville and Miamisburg and Springfield and company? What are your takeaways as far as the GWAC as a whole? Is there a surprise team that you're kind of interested in this year?
Well, I think Springboro's a dark horse. I think Northmont's got a lot of guys that are getting recruited. There's Dorian Brews, a junior who we didn't even know really who he was last year, and now he's a 5-star. He obviously camped very well this summer and is blossoming. So I'm interested to see what they do, especially because they're Division II this year. So if they're really good in the GWAC, boy, they could make a lot of noise in Division II playoffs. Miamisburg, I think they thought they would be a little better than they were last year. They weren't. I'll be interested to see, Beaver Creek plays Xenia tonight. Beaver Creek's not going to challenge in this league, but be interesting to see what kind of gap they've closed on Xenia as Marcus Colvin tries to, he's in the second year of his rebuild. So I think, as we've seen in recent years, doesn't matter who's in first place and who's 2 and 3 or 1 and 4 in the league, you better come to play in that league because we've seen Miamisburg knocked off Springfield 3 years ago. Fairmont got them last year or 2 years ago. These things are happening in that league every year. Somebody's gonna get knocked off that doesn't expect to, and I don't think that'll change this year. Even if we did lose a lot of seniors out of this, there's still going to be talent. There's going to be new guys coming up.
All right, we got Jeff Gilbert hanging out with us, spending some time talking all things high school football. Week 1 of the high school football season, our high school football game of the week here on 1410 ESPN Radio and 101.5 Hank FM, the Fairmont Firebirds and the Alter Knights. With that being said, we appreciate your time, Jeff. We hope to talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and we're so glad that the high school football season is officially here.
All right, man. Take care.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Hey, Cordell Transportation is now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers, excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply right now, online at CordellTransportation.com. Do it right now. Driven to succeed.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials Light Trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials Light Trap. Insecticide-free protection.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Hi, Greg McAfee here from McAfee Heating and Air. Inflation is hurting families. Gas and food prices continue to soar, but skilled trade jobs are paying at an all-time high rate. Why keep working for less? If you are experienced in HVAC, have a great attitude, love serving people, and enjoy working hard, apply today at mcair.com. That's mcair.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
At Staples, school savings are always in session. From art supplies and essentials to the latest tech, in stock and price low. School on, save on at your local Staples store.
High school football fans, get up-to-the-minute score updates from all the biggest games around the Miami Valley using the 1410 ESPN Radio Scoreboard, presented by Frickers. Visit 937sports.com.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Everybody, welcome in. It's the Kidder and Kev Show, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, live on Dayton's ESPN radio station, live at 1410 Wing AM, live on the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page, live on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Excited to be with you here on a Thursday. Week 1 of the high school football season officially kicks off tonight, and we kick it off with Fairmont and Alter. 6:30, our coverage begins with our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. And we'll walk you right up to kickoff at 7 o'clock. And I can't believe it. Real football, not preseason football, not camp, but games that matter. Games that will actually put a tally in the win or the loss column. Games that will go towards a potential playoff berth, a potential playoff run here in the coming months. But I cannot tell you how excited I am to have high school football on this station once again, 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll actually be carrying it, simulcasting it over on our sister station on the FM on 101.5 Hank FM. You can listen to it on the stream at wingam.com. There's so many different ways to take in not just our show right now, but high school football coming up later on tonight. Again, as I mentioned, the biggest rivalry in the Miami Valley coming up later on tonight. For those watching on the Facebook and YouTube side,